Yes, good morning students. Today I am going to start with the fourth chapter of history, which is the fourth chapter, tribal communities and colonialism. Tribal comes from the word tribe. Okay, so we are going to study about tribes in India, the groups of the tribes, okay, and colonialism. What is colonialism? Colonialism is a policy of establishing political control. By what happens is, like the Britishers did, they established political control over India, and the settlers, they occupy that country, and the country is exploited. Okay, so that is what is meant by colonialism. So this is the theme of this chapter. We are going to study about different tribal communities and colonialism. Okay, so why are these two concepts, okay, related here? I think you must have got an idea that in this chapter we are going to study the relationship of the tribal communities and colonialism. Means, what was the effect of the colonial rule on the tribal communities, isn't it? This is the theme of this lesson. What is the theme? The effect of the British rule on the tribal communities in India. Okay, yes. So I will start with introduction first. See students, India is a land of grand cultural diversity. Means people who follow different cultures, they live in India, right? And India is also a land of fusion of diverse different ethnic groups. Okay, so people following different cultural diversities, people following different cultural traditions, they live in India. Fusion is like the people from different ethnic groups, okay, they have been into relationships. Okay, so here there are people who follow their distinct cultural identity, and there are people who have mixed up their identities. Okay, yes. So what happened? The different ethnic groups, okay, many ethnic groups, they migrated, okay, at different time periods, okay, in different areas across the Indian subcontinent. What I am telling you, that different ethnic groups. Do you know what is the meaning of the word ethnic? Ethnic is related to shared people who are sharing cultural traditions. Okay, so the people of a particular group who share cultural traditions are described as ethnic. Okay, so different ethnic groups, many ethnic groups, they migrated, okay, from different places in the Indian subcontinent at different periods and in different areas. Do you have an idea of what is Indian subcontinent? See, this is an area which is subcontinent, is it is a very distinguishable part of the continent of Asia. Okay, it includes countries like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, okay, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan. Okay, so this is described as the Indian subcontinent. So what happened? Many ethnic groups, they settled here in the Indian subcontinent. Understood this? Okay. Now before these many ethnic groups, they settled in different parts of the Indian subcontinent, before them there were several communities who were living in India. There were several communities who were living in India before the ethnic groups, different ethnic groups, they migrated in India. Okay, and those communities, okay, for those communities, in the modern parlance, that is a particular way of using words, What are those communities called as in modern parlance? They are called as tribals or Adivasis. What they are called as? Tribals or Adivasis. So here I am telling you about the topic of the tribal communities and who are they, from when, how long they have been living here. Understood? Okay. So these communities, that is the Adivasis or the tribals, okay, where they were living? They were living in inaccessible, remote highlands and desolate forests. Okay, where they were living? They were living in highlands, okay, and desolate forest. Desolate is that gives an impression of bleak, gloomy or empty. Okay, in such forests they were living, or on the highlands these communities they were living. And one more thing about the communities, that they had their own system of administering justice. Okay, they had their own system of government. What I am telling you, they had their own system of government. They have their own socio-political institutions. What is socio-political? This is the combination of both the factors, social and political. Okay, means there are some traditions which are followed in the society, okay, or norms followed in the society, and then they get the backing of the government, of the rule or the rulers. That is socio-political. Okay, so socio-political, some institutions are there, right? And so these communities, they were having their own government, okay, they were having their own customs, right? They were having their own practices, and they had their own lifestyle. Okay, they had their own lifestyle. So we are understanding here that how the so we are understanding here how the tribal communities, what kind of life they lived and how their life was different. Okay, this I am trying to tell you here. Okay, and where they were living remote, inaccessible areas, highlands and desolate forests. Okay, now what happened? This situation, it underwent a dynamic change when with the advent of the British. Because what is the theme, students, of this chapter? The effect of the British rule of the colonialism on the tribal communities. So we have seen now that what kind of system they were having, where they were living. Okay, and now the Britishers, when they arrived, okay, so what was the effect of the advent of the Britishers on the tribal communities? Okay, the situation, as I told you, it underwent a dynamic change. So what we are going to study in this chapter, okay, we are going to focus on three aspects. Are you understanding? We are going to focus on three aspects here. And what are those three aspects? First, we will see the tribal way of life. Okay, this is the first part, that we are going to see the tribal way of life, their way of living. Here we will study about what their occupations, okay, their society, then their economy, okay, what kind of life they lived, right? This will be the first aspect, okay, of this chapter or first part. And after this we will see that what was the effect, okay, of the British rule on the tribals. What is the second part? The effect on the tribals of the British rule. And the third part is, what was the response? Okay, what responses of the tribals were towards the changes. Okay, so in this way we are going to study these three aspects, okay, about the tribal communities and colonialism. Once again, the life the tribals were living, okay, before the colonial period, how it changed with the advent of the Britishers, the effect, okay, on the life of the tribals after the advent of the British, right? And third, what was the response, okay, towards the changes of the tribals. Understood? So let's start now with the first topic, that is, what the lifestyle of the tribals was. Okay, so first I would tell you about the population of the tribals. Like in India, what is the population of the tribals? See, they are 60, around 6 to 8 crore. How many tribals are there? Around 6 to 8, 6 to 7 crores in India, 67.7 million. Okay, so many tribals they live in India. Okay, and the Adivasis. Okay, and the term Adivasis, what does it literally mean? These it means original inhabitants of the land, original people or inhabitants of the land. This is the meaning of the word Adivasis. Okay, then how do we come to know about the history of the Adivasis? Okay, the next question arises here is, how do we come to know about the history of the Adivasis? So there are different sources through which we come to know about the history of the Adivasis. What are those sources? Those sources are ballads. Okay, ballads are songs about popular stories. Okay, so from those songs we come to know about the history. Okay, we can come to know about the history of the Adivasis. Similarly, folklore. Folklore are the beliefs. Okay, the society's beliefs. Okay, that is the folklore. The traditional beliefs and customs. Okay, so we through that we can come to know about the history. Then there are, students, some other sources also which can serve as important sources. Like what they can be? It can be the government documents. Okay, issued by the government, documents issued by the government. From that we can come to know about the history of the Adivasis. Okay, then certain inquiry commissions which are set up by the government, their reports, okay, their judgments, from that. Okay, and we can come to know about the history from the individual petitions, individual peasant petitions. Petitions are like formal requests to the government. So whatever request was made by the individual peasants, through that also we can come to know about the history of the tribals. Okay, so through government documents, through administrative proceedings, through the peasant petitions, individual peasant petitions, okay, through the inquiry commission reports and their judgments. So these are, students, the 6 sources from where we can come to know about the history of the tribals, right? Okay, now the next topic is tribal society. Okay, थोड़ा आराम से, हाँ. Okay, next topic is tribal society. So here we are going to study about their occupation. We are going to study about their economy as a part of the tribal way of life. So first let me tell you that these tribals, they resided where? As I have told you that they resided where? In the hilly areas, okay, and the forests, right? And they did not have rigid social divisions, unlike other communities. Try to understand here the social life of the Adivasis. They did not have rigid social divisions. Rigid means what? Means like in the other communities, you have studied in 7th standard, okay, that there were communities, caste based societies, where there was according to birth, okay, means a person belonged to a particular caste on the basis of birth, right? And there was huge gap between the high and low caste group. You understand? But the Adivasis, they did not have such kind of high caste group and low caste group. Okay, in fact they believed in equality. Okay, so this is about their social life, right? Now the tribal society, what kind of occupations they followed? See, all the members of the tribe, they owned land. Okay, so first thing about them is that they owned land and they lived a nomadic life. Okay, nomadic, like they continually move, huh? To find pastures, okay, for their animals. Okay, so due to certain reasons they were moving continually. Okay, so they led a nomadic life. Now we see what was their main occupation. What was the main occupation of the tribal students? Here you have to understand that the importance of forest in their life, the importance of forest in the lives of the tribals. Okay, so their main occupation was to hunt animals. Okay, hunting of animals, okay, and gathering the forest produce. Okay, this was their main occupation, hunting the animals and gathering the forest produce. This was their main occupation. And here I will give you example of two tribal communities. Okay, one is the Baigas of central India, okay, and the second is the Khonds of Orissa, or as it is called now as Odisha. So these communities, what they did, they went habitually, they went on collective hunting and fishing and collecting of edible, which are eatable, edible fruits and roots. Okay, and the forest produce was also used for medicinal purpose. Are you understanding here that what kind of occupations they had? They were hunting animals and they were collecting the forest produce. This was their primary occupation. Okay, and many tribal communities, here, like I am going to tell you about some other occupation. Okay, many tribal communities, some examples are given here, like the one Gujjars of the Punjab hills, okay, the Lambadis of the Andhra Pradesh, okay, the Gaddis of Himachal Pradesh, right, and the Bakarwals, okay, Bakarwals of Kashmir. Okay, Bakarwals, I just thought about the meaning of this word Bakarwals. Maybe I thought they were Bakriwalas, and then that Bakriwala became Bakarwals. Do you know why? Because they practiced what? Pastoralism. Okay, it is related to farming or grazing of sheep or cattle. Are you understanding? So what we are studying about the tribals, that they were either hunting animals, okay, they were collecting forest produce. Now when we are talking about these communities, see, everywhere not necessarily that forest would be there. Okay, so from that point of view I am telling you that then they may have this occupation also, that is pastoralism. Okay, they were having like animals like sheep, and they were grazed, cattle, they were grazed, okay, by these communities. Example I gave you, Bakarwals of Kashmir, right? Okay, so here we have seen that the tribals, what occupations, okay, they had. And I told you about either they were, means of course their main occupation was forest, okay, I mean their main occupation was hunting animals and collecting the forest produce. But here we are examples I have given you of the Baigas in central India, and of the Khonds in Orissa. And then there are tribal communities, other, like here I gave you 4 examples that they practiced pastoralism. Okay, so now one more occupation you will come to know about is, that is jhum cultivation. What is that called as? Jhum cultivation or shifting cultivation. Okay, so now which communities? The tribal communities that were inhabiting the hilly and forested region of northeast and central India. The tribal communities which were living, okay, inhabiting where? In the hilly and forested regions. Okay, so where it was possible for them to engage in cultivation. Okay, so there they cultivated the land, right, and this is called as jhum cultivation or shifting cultivation. From the name itself we can understand, shifting cultivation means they were shifting from one place to other. Now this is a concept, new concept for you, maybe, that is, what is jhum cultivation. So what was done, students? So that the sun should reach the ground, what they were doing was, they were burning the vegetation, so that the sun, it should reach the ground. They were burning the vegetation, and they were cutting off the trees, the tree tops. Okay, so after cutting off the tree tops, okay, and burning the vegetation, what they did was that hmm, the ash was used to fertilize the land now. Okay, the ash was used to fertilize the land, and the land was furrowed by the help of hoe. Okay, hoe is a, it is a farm tool. Okay, it is an implement, right, with the help of which long trenches were dug, right. So and the seeds were scattered. Okay, and in this way they carried, they conducted part of the activities of the jhum cultivation. Okay, then what did they do after the gathering of the crops? Gathering is collecting of the harvest. Okay, I mean harvest is gathering, collecting. Okay, so harvesting, after the harvesting, what they did was that they left the land fallow. Okay, means it was prepared, it was plowed, furrowed. Okay, but they did not sow the seeds. Okay, so they left it fallow for several years. Are you understanding? So here we are trying to understand that what were the different occupations the tribals they were following. Okay, forest life. Okay, collecting the forest produce, hunting animals, pastoralism, grazing cattle, sheep, or because Adivasis were not living in only one area, students, they were living in different parts, okay, of India, right. So the pastoralism we have seen, and we have seen here jhum cultivation also, right. Now there were some other tribal groups also, they did some other works, for example carrying of loads, or working in the fields of the peasants, okay, or construction of roads. So these were the different occupations of the tribals. Understood? And now what about the economy? Okay, see, first of all, what is economy? Economy is the production and distribution of goods and services. It is the way the wealth is made, a system of making wealth and using it. That is what is economy. Okay, so we have seen now how they were producing, okay, making wealth, okay, or their essential needs, okay, how they were producing it. Now they were not dependent only on them, they wanted to use this whatever they have produced. Okay, so what they were doing was that mostly they were bartering, okay, exchanging the goods, okay, bartering the valuable forest produce, okay, for the goods, essential goods they required, they were bartering, they were exchanging, okay. And at times they were also purchasing the commodities from the traders. What they are doing, they are also purchasing the goods from the traders. You understand? So this is about the economic life of the tribals, the occupations, the economy, and their society. So students, this is what we have studied in today's part. Okay, what we have studied in today's part. The first part, I introduced to you the tribal community. Okay, I told you about that in India there are several means a land of many cultures coexisting here in India, existing together, and the different ethnic groups. Okay, they means many ethnic groups they migrated to India. But before these ethnic groups migrated to India, several communities were living here, and those communities, they are the tribals, okay, or the Adivasis. And then we have seen that these people, they were having their own system of government, okay, or administration of justice, their customs, okay, their way of life. And then but what happened, we have seen that when the Britishers came, their life, the situation underwent a dynamic change. So today's first topic we have taken is that we have seen that what kind of life they were living, the tribal way of life. This I have explained to you. I have told you the different sources of history there, and then the population of the tribals, and the society, what kind of society they lived in. There were like those rigid social divisions were not there among them. They believed in equality, and then about the occupations and the economy. Understood, friends? So this is what we have covered today in the first part. Okay, so I am done here. Okay, I close the session here. Thank you all of you.